The wind howled like a wild beast, cutting through the broken walls of the ruined city. Snow fell heavily, covering the ground in a thick white blanket. In the middle of the cold, a young woman struggled to walk. Her clothes were torn and wet, and her face was pale from the freezing air. In her arms, she carried a tiny child. The baby was wrapped in thin cloth, shivering and silent. The woman's eyes were filled with pain and fear. She looked around, but the city was empty, no help, no warmth, only silence and cold. She had been running for days, escaping from soldiers who wanted to take her child. These soldiers were not from this world. They were from a distant, powerful alien empire that controlled many planets. They believed the child held a secret, a power that could change the fate of the universe. The woman's people had fought to protect the child, but now she was alone. Her legs trembled, and she stopped near a broken wall to rest. She looked down at the baby. The child's small hands moved slightly, and a faint breath escaped its lips. The woman's heart ached. She whispered softly, "Stay with me. I won't let them take you." But the cold was too much. Her fingers were numb, and her vision blurred. She could feel her strength leaving her. The night was long, and death seemed near. Slowly, she wrapped the baby tighter in her thin shawl and closed her eyes. She thought it would be the end for both of them. Then, suddenly she heard footsteps, soft but steady. She opened her eyes and saw a figure approaching through the snow. It was a man, tall and strong, wearing heavy clothes that looked different from anyone she had ever seen. The man stopped beside her. Without a word, he took off his warm coat and wrapped it around the woman and the baby. His eyes were kind but full of mystery. "Come with me," he said quietly. "You're not safe here." The woman wanted to ask who he was, but her lips wouldn't move. She only nodded weakly. He lifted her carefully, supporting her weight. As he walked through the cold city, the woman's mind raced. Was he friend or enemy? Could she trust him with her child's life? She tried to remember everything, the soldiers, the chase, the cold nights. The fear was still there, but something in the man's calm voice gave her hope. They reached a small shelter hidden beneath the ruins. Inside, a soft fire burned, and warmth filled the air. The man placed the woman and the baby near the fire. "Rest now," he said. "You are safe for the moment." The woman closed her eyes again, but this time it was different. She felt warmth, not cold. She heard the baby's soft breathing and the crackling fire. But most of all, she felt alive. As she drifted to sleep, she wondered about the man who had saved them. Who was he? Why had he come to help? And deep inside, a small voice whispered, this was only the beginning. The firelight flickered softly in the small shelter. Outside, the wind still screamed, but inside, the woman and her child were warm for the first time in days. She opened her eyes slowly, feeling the strange comfort around her. The man sat quietly. Nearby, his face half hidden by the shadows. She looked at him carefully. His eyes were sharp and serious, but not cruel. His clothes were strange, not like any uniform she had seen from her people or from the soldiers chasing her. Something about him felt different. She wanted to ask questions, but her voice was weak. The baby stirred and opened tiny eyes, searching for the woman's face. She smiled softly, brushing a strand of hair from the child's forehead. "Thank you," she whispered to the man, barely above a breath. He nodded but did not speak. Instead, he reached into a small bag beside him and pulled out a device. It glowed faintly with blue light. The woman watched curiously as he pressed a few buttons. A hologram appeared, a map of stars and planets, with a blinking red dot marking their location. "Where are we?" she asked, her voice trembling. The man hesitated but then said, "Far from your home. This place is hidden, safe for now." She felt a mixture of fear and hope. Safe was a strange word after so much danger. She wanted to know why this stranger had helped her. What did he want in return? Suddenly, the door to the shelter rattled. Both the woman and the man froze. Outside, muffled voices shouted in a harsh language she didn't understand. The soldiers must have found their hiding place. The man stood quickly. "You must stay here," he ordered. "I will handle this." "No," the woman said, clutching her child tightly. "Please don't leave us." He gave her a sharp look. "I have to." Before she could say more, the man moved to the entrance and opened the door. The cold night rushed in with the shouting soldiers. They wore heavy armor and carried strange weapons that glowed with energy. The man faced them calmly. "You will not come inside." The leader of the soldiers stepped forward. "We know the child is here. Give her to us." The man's voice was steady. "She is under my protection. You will leave or face consequences." The soldiers hesitated, unsure of who this man was or what power he held. Then, one of them fired a pulse of energy. The man raised his hand, and a shield of light appeared, blocking the attack. The fight began. Inside the shelter, the woman held her child close, listening to the sounds of battle. Explosions, shouts, and the crackling of energy filled the air. Fear gripped her heart. What if they lost? What if the soldiers took her baby? Suddenly, a loud crash shook the shelter. Dust fell from the ceiling. The man appeared, his clothes torn but his eyes fierce. "Run!" he shouted. "Follow me." The woman did not hesitate. She stood, clutching the baby tightly. Together, they ran through secret tunnels beneath the ruins. The man led them through twists and turns, barely stopping to catch his breath. Finally, they reached a hidden door. The man opened it, revealing a small ship waiting silently. "This is your chance," he said. "Get inside." The woman lifted the baby and stepped into the ship. The man followed and sealed the door behind them. The engines roared to life. The ship lifted off the ground, escaping the ruined city and the soldiers who still searched below. As the ship flew into the dark sky, the woman looked at the man. "Who are you?" she asked again. He smiled faintly. "Someone who wants to protect what is precious. For now, that is enough." The baby cooed softly, and the woman felt a flicker of hope inside her cold heart. But the danger was far from over. The small ship hummed softly as it soared through the blackness of space. Inside, the woman held her baby close, feeling the steady warmth of the man beside her. The silence was thick, but it was a relief after the chaos below. The woman, finally, found the courage to speak. "Where are we going?" she asked, her voice still shaky but curious. The man looked ahead, his eyes focused on the glowing stars outside the window. "To a place where you and your child can be safe. A place where no one will hunt you." She nodded slowly, but deep down, questions swirled in her mind. Who was this man? Why did he risk so much for her and her baby? What was so special about her child that soldiers would chase her like a shadow? The baby stirred again, reaching tiny hands toward the man. He smiled softly, gently touching the child's cheek. The woman noticed a strange calm in his eyes, as if he understood something. No one else did. Suddenly, the ship's alarm beeped softly. The man moved quickly to the control panel and studied the readout. "We're being tracked," he said quietly. "The soldiers have sent ships after us." Fear gripped the woman's heart. "Can we escape?" He nodded. "I hope so." The ship dipped and turned, weaving through asteroid fields and narrow space corridors. The man's skill was clear as he avoided the pursuing ships, but he was also tense. This was no ordinary chase. As the hours passed, the woman noticed something strange about her child. The baby's eyes glowed faintly in the dim light of the cabin. She reached out to touch the baby's hand and felt a sudden warmth spread through her fingers. The man noticed too. "Your child is not like others," he said softly. "There is something inside, something powerful." The woman's eyes widened. "What do you mean?" he sighed. "I believe your child carries a secret, an ancient power from a forgotten race. This power can change everything if it is used well, her mind raced. Could this be why the soldiers wanted her baby? Could this explain why she felt so exhausted and afraid? The cold nights, the endless running, it all made sense now. The man placed a hand on her shoulder. You must protect your child, no matter what. But you are not alone. I will help you. Tears filled her eyes. For the first time in days, she felt hope. Suddenly, the ship shook violently. Warning lights flashed. Another attack. The man moved to the controls, pushing buttons to activate the ship's defenses. A powerful energy shield formed around them, blocking the incoming blasts. We can't keep this up forever, he warned. We need to find a safe place soon. The woman clutched her baby tightly. Where can we go? The man's eyes darkened. There is a hidden sanctuary on a distant moon. Few know of it. It is our only chance. The baby cooed softly again, reaching out to the man's face. He smiled, a mix of tenderness and determination. The journey ahead was dangerous, but for now they had each other. And somewhere inside that tiny child, a secret waited, one that could save or destroy everything. The small ship sped through the dark emptiness of space, the stars streaking past like tiny diamonds. Inside, the woman kept her child close, feeling the soft warmth against her chest. The man sat near the controls, eyes sharp and focused. Woman tried to calm her racing heart. The danger was still close, but now they had a goal, the hidden sanctuary the man had spoken about. Tell me more, she said quietly. What is this sanctuary? The man looked at her, his face serious. It's a secret place, built long ago by an ancient race who understood the power your child carries. They created it to protect others like your baby. Her eyes grew wide. So it's safe? For now, he replied. But we have to reach it before the soldiers catch us. Suddenly, the ship's sensors beeped again. More ships are coming, the man said. They won't stop until they find your child. The woman tightened her grip on the baby. I'm scared. He gave her a small smile. I know, but you're strong. And your child is special. As they flew, the man told her stories about the ancient race, how they once ruled the stars with wisdom and kindness, using powers like those inside her baby to protect life. But many feared their power and waged war, scattering them across the galaxy. That's why the sanctuary exists, he said. A place hidden from all, where the last hope can grow in peace. The woman listened, her hope growing, but doubt still lingered. How could she trust this stranger? How could she believe this tiny child held such power? Before she could ask, the ship shook violently. Alarms blared. The pursuers had caught up. The man's hands flew over the controls, trying to dodge the incoming fire. Hold on, he shouted. The ship spun and dove through a dense asteroid field. Sharp rocks loomed on every side. Can we make it? The woman cried, clutching the baby tightly. We have to, the man answered. This is our only chance. Suddenly, a blast hit the ship's engine. The hum of power faltered. We're losing speed. The man yelled. The ship lurched as the damaged engine struggled to keep them moving. More ships closed in, their glowing weapons ready to strike. With no time to lose, the man made a quick decision. I'm going to land on the nearest moon. We'll hide there and fix the engine. The woman nodded, fear twisting in her stomach. The ship's landing gear dropped, and it descended rapidly toward a gray, rocky moon below. The surface was rough, covered with craters and dark shadows. Ship touched down hard, sending dust and stones flying. Inside, the woman held her baby close. Trying to steady her breath, the man began repairs, opening panels and working quickly. Outside, distant lights flickered. The pursuers were close. We don't have much time, the man said without looking up. Suddenly, a soft glow began to shine from the baby's chest. The woman gasped. The man stopped and stared. The power is awakening. The baby's eyes opened wide, shining with a strange light. The woman felt a warmth spread through her body, chasing away the cold fear. Whatever happens, the man said quietly, this child is our future. Outside, the shadows of the soldiers grew nearer. The battle for survival was only just beginning. The baby's glowing eyes filled the dim room with an eerie light. The woman held her child closer, feeling a strange warmth that seemed to pulse from within. The man stared at the child, awe and concern mixing in his expression. The power is growing, he said quietly, faster than I expected. The woman's heart pounded. What does it mean? Is the baby ... dangerous? No, the man replied, but powerful. We must learn to control it before others find out. Outside the ship, distant sounds echoed, the footsteps and voices of the soldiers drawing nearer. The man worked faster, repairing the damaged engine. But even as he fixed wires and circuits, his eyes never left the child. Suddenly, a soft hum filled the room. The baby's hands began to glow, small sparks of light dancing between its fingers. The woman gasped, her breath catching in her throat. Look, the man whispered. It's starting to use the power. The baby reached out, and the sparks floated toward the man. He held out his hand, and the sparks wrapped around his fingers like tiny stars. It's bonding, the man said. This connection will help us protect your child. The woman felt a mixture of fear and hope. She didn't fully understand what was happening, but she knew the baby was extraordinary. She vowed to protect the child with all her strength. Suddenly, alarms blared. The soldiers had landed on the moon's surface. The man grabbed a small weapon from a nearby table. We have to fight, he said. They won't stop until they have the child. The woman looked at the baby, who now smiled softly, eyes still glowing. She nodded. I'm ready. The ship's door opened with a hiss, and the soldiers stormed in. Their weapons aimed directly at the woman and her child. The man stepped forward, raising his weapon and firing a blast of energy that sent the soldiers back. But more kept coming. The fight was fierce. The man moved with speed and skill, protecting the woman and baby at all costs. Suddenly, the baby reached out again. A wave of light spread from its tiny hands, pushing the soldiers away like a strong wind. The woman watched in amazement. Her child's power was not just strong. It was growing with every moment. One soldier broke through the light barrier and lunged at the woman. The man fired again, knocking him down. But the woman saw the soldier's face. Hard, angry, but also scared. She realized the soldiers were not just enemies. They were afraid of the power they didn't understand. The battle continued, but the woman's mind raced. She had to protect her child, not just from these soldiers, but from the fear that surrounded them all. Finally, the man shouted, "We have to leave now. The engine is ready." The woman lifted the baby, and they ran to the ship's control room. The man started the engines, and the ship lifted off just as more soldiers appeared outside. As they soared away from the moon, the woman looked at her child's glowing eyes and whispered, "You are our hope. We will keep you safe." The man sat beside her, watching the stars ahead. This is only the beginning. The power inside your child will change everything. But first, we must survive. The ship hummed quietly as it flew through space. Outside, stars passed by in a slow, steady stream. Inside, the woman sat with her child resting peacefully in her arms. The soft glow from the baby's eyes was now faint but still there, a quiet reminder of the power within. The man sat nearby, his face thoughtful. For the first time since they met, he spoke softly. "You deserve to know the truth about me." The woman looked up, curious but cautious. "Who are you? Why did you help me?" He took a deep breath. "I come from a secret group, people who protect those with special powers like your child. We fight to keep the balance in the galaxy. She frowned. "Why haven't I heard of you?" "We work in the shadows," he said. "Because others want to use these powers for control and destruction. That's why your child is hunted. The soldiers want to take her power and use it as a weapon." The woman hugged her baby tighter. "I will never let that happen." The man nodded. "Good, because the power inside your child can save worlds or destroy them. It all depends on how she uses it." She looked down at her baby's peaceful face and felt a surge of determination. "I want to protect her, teach her." The man smiled faintly. "Then we must reach the sanctuary. There, you will find others like you. You won't be alone." Suddenly the ship jolted. Warning lights flashed. "We're being followed again," the man said quickly. "Enemy ships are closing in." The woman's heart raced. "Can we fight?" He nodded. "We have to try." The ship moved into defensive mode. Shields rose and weapons activated. Outside, the enemy ships appeared, dark shapes against the stars. The battle began again. Blasts of energy lit up space as the ships clashed. The man piloted skillfully, dodging attacks and firing back. The woman held her child tightly, praying for safety. Suddenly, the baby's eyes glowed brighter. A warm energy spread through the cabin, calming the tension. The man looked at the child in wonder. "She's trying to help." A beam of light burst from the baby's hands, hitting an enemy ship. The ship shook violently and exploded in a ball of fire. The woman gasped. "She's protecting us." The man smiled. "Her power is stronger than we thought." As the battle continued, the woman realized something important. This power wasn't just a weapon. It was a gift, one that could bring hope if they learned to control it. Finally, the enemy ships retreated, damaged but alive. The ship's alarms stopped. The woman sighed in relief. "Is it over?" "For now," the man said. "But the soldiers will not give up." She looked at her child, now calm and silent. "We have to be ready." The man turned to her. "We will be together." As the ship resumed its course toward the sanctuary, the woman felt a new strength inside her. The journey was far from over, but she was no longer alone. She had a protector, a guide, and the most powerful hope in the universe. Her child. The ship sailed silently through the stars, heading toward the hidden sanctuary. The woman held her baby close, feeling the soft glow of the child's power gently pulsing beneath her fingers. After everything they had faced, a calm hope filled her heart. The man sat beside her, watching the stars pass by. "We're almost there," he said quietly. She looked up, eyes wide. "What will we find?" "A place where you and your child can live without fear," he replied. "Where others will help you understand the power inside her." The woman smiled, though a small worry remained. "And the soldiers?" "They won't give up," the man said. "But here, we will be stronger, together." As the ship approached the sanctuary, the view through the windows changed. A beautiful green moon appeared, shining softly against the black sky. The surface was covered with forests, rivers, and mountains, life untouched by war and fear. The ship landed gently on a grassy field near a cluster of small buildings hidden among the trees. The woman stepped outside, the fresh air filling her lungs. She felt hope for the first time in a long while. As she walked, a group of people approached, men and women with kind eyes and peaceful smiles. They wore simple clothes, but there was strength in their presence. One stepped forward. "Welcome," he said. "We have been waiting for you." The woman held her baby tightly as she looked around. She saw others with glowing eyes like her child, children and adults alike. Here, she was not alone. The man spoke softly. "This is the sanctuary, a place of safety, learning, and hope." The woman's heart swelled. For so long, she had run from fear and death. Now she found a chance for a new life for her child. And for herself. Suddenly, alarms sounded again. The woman's heart raced. Soldiers had found them, But this time, she was not afraid. The people of the sanctuary moved quickly, forming a protective shield around the woman and her child. The man stood beside her, calm and ready. The soldiers arrived, their weapons raised. But the sanctuary's defenders were prepared. Energy shields rose, and glowing powers surrounded the protectors. A fierce battle began. But this time, the woman saw the difference. They were not alone. Her child's power flared, shining brightly like a star. The soldiers hesitated, their fear growing. One by one, the invaders were pushed back, unable to break the sanctuary's defenses. As the dust settled, the woman looked at her child, now peacefully sleeping in her arms. "This is our home," she whispered. The man smiled. "And the beginning of something greater." Together, they would face the future. A future where power was not a weapon, but a gift. A future where hope and love could change the universe. And in the heart of the sanctuary, the tiny child rested, destined to be a light in the darkness.